Welcome to Stock Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startup businesses to be wildly successful. We're so lucky today. We've got Jay Fairbrother from the Profit Architects here, and he's going to talk about sales and particularly pricing and how important that is for startups. So thanks for coming, Jay.
Thanks, Mary. I'm glad to be here.
This is great. So tell us a little bit about your background in sales and what are the top two things that people need to know?
I'm a serial entrepreneur for the last 30 years. So I have founded many businesses. I've also bought them and sold them and scaled multiple seven-figure businesses. Now I'm just a business advisor and a business coach with the Profit Architects. And I help businesses in a lot of ways, but certainly, my superpower is along the lines of helping people learn how to sell, especially people who have no prior sales experience or don't aspire to be a professional master salesperson. You don't need to take a 12-week course on sales to just get a little better. And how important it is just to be comfortable, confident, and conversational in the selling process.
Okay, comfortable, confident, and conversational. Okay, it's about relationships and relaxed, right?
Yeah. Well, I always say sales is 80% confidence and 20% art. It can never be a science because marketing can be a science because it's one to many, but sales is a conversation. And we're constantly in sales conversations every single day, whether it's in business or with our spouse or our children. And so some of the, basic skills that you need to be better at sales, you don't need like a big long course or anything on that. If you just have some basic skills and understanding, it will make your confidence soar. And that is the 80%. I've seen salespeople who have really bad skills at selling, but their confidence overcompensates for it. They're able to get rid, in every sales conversation, they're able to get rid of all the head trash before they go in, and they're able to have an optimistic viewpoint of the outcome of the sales call. And so those super confident salespeople, even when they're doing lots of things wrong in terms of skill and what they could be doing, they can be very successful just with the confidence.
Okay. So what are some of the do's and don'ts of a sales conversation?
Well, I think that the biggest thing that people who aren't comfortable with selling do is they just talk too much. Look at a sales conversation like you're there to serve and help. Just think of it as if you were a coach, for instance. You would never approach a client as a coach and have your first client session and talk 70% of the time. As a coach, you would know that your process is to ask them questions and dig into what their issues are and what their challenges are. And then later talk about how you can help those. So the biggest thing is talking too much and also using a lot of corporate speak, technical jargon, and using big words and flowery language when a simple story will be much more impactful and powerful in the selling process.
Particularly a story about how you solved a problem for somebody, particularly if the problem is similar to the one you just heard.
Absolutely. In fact, I have an exercise on my website that you can download called the Storytelling Challenge, and it walks you through how to do exactly what you just said, where you come up with all the pain points that you solve for and all your differentiators or unique selling proposition, and you craft stories around each one of those. And then, it walks you through sort of how to craft the story, how much detail to put in. And yeah, you use those in lieu of all of the, sort of platitudes and the big words and flowery language that you use to talk about yourself.
What other sales tips do you have for people?
I think the other thing that sort of people who are uncomfortable in sales, that they don't have a lot of times they don't have a structure to the call. I've seen cases where I review calls with some of my clients, And, they're 7, 8 minutes into the call and they're still talking about the weather or COVID or, like they're not managing the clock. They've just wasted half the time that the person they're speaking to has allotted. And so, putting some structure to a call, which I suggest is usually a series of 5 to 7 questions that kind of keep you on track to make sure you're advancing the call moving forward with the conversation so that there's, some kind of a good outcome.
Right. And you need to mirror back some stuff just to make sure that you are understanding what they're saying properly.
Yeah, absolutely. First, just slow down. Say, okay, let me make sure I understood what you just said and repeat it back. And then you need to kind of dig deeper. It's like peeling the layers of an onion, because when people are being sold to, we get defensive. And so often the first thing that comes out of our mouths is not necessarily what is really laying beneath that's bothering us or is a fear or concern or some, risk we're afraid of.
Right. There's another reason there.
And usually is.
I like the way improv works, where the premise is yes and. So you say yes, you validate whatever their concerns are. And have you thought about this? And have you thought about some other way of looking at it? And if you go around this way, it looks differently.
Yeah.
You're not denying anything. You're going with it and taking it further.
Right. And it doesn't come across as yes, but.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I love that. Improv training is awesome for selling.
It is. Thank you so much, Jay. This has been very good. I'm going to put links in the comments so people can get a hold of Jay for more information, because he's a wealth of sales training that may be very useful to your bottom line as a startup. Any parting thoughts, Jay?
There's 3 ways to create more revenue and profit in your business. One is to get in front of more customers, get more opportunities. The other is to sell better and be able to convert more of the people you're already in front of. And the third is to raise prices. The latter two is what I help people with. And the latter two also, any incremental improvement you have, whether it's 5% or 50%, it goes directly to the bottom line. That's profit, because you've already got all the expense and effort to get in front of somebody. Once you're in front of them, let's get better at converting them. Let's make sure we're charging a price where it, reflects the value that you are providing to somebody. So a lot of business owners and startup folks, they get all wrapped up in the marketing piece of it, getting in front of more customers, and they kind of put the rest on a back seat, and it's important.
Sounds good. Thanks again, Jay Fairbrother from the Profit Architects. And this is Mary Scott from Business Riff. We want startups to be wildly successful. So join us again for Stuck, Time to Improv.